Hello YouTube, I have an issue with my brakes. So this will be a perfect time to show you how to change your brake and rotors on a 2007 Ford Taurus. This also works for 2000 up to 2007. So I hope this helps you out if you want to do this yourself. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing you do, believe it or not, is remove the cap from the master cylinder. I will tell you why at the end of this video. First thing first, safety first, always have your jack stands there. You don't want that thing to fall on you and kill you. Now the first thing you're going to have to do in order to take the rotor off is to remove the caliper. It is simple. It's just 2 bolts. You got one up here and you got one right here. They're 12 millimeter and they might be on there for a while depending on when was the last time you had the brakes would worked. So I recommend you put some kind of lubricant like a WD-40 or something to break the rust, and with a nice wrench or a socket it'll pop loose, and you just remove these. Then this part will be able to slide out like this. Now since this one has like a little lip on it on the other side too, it might be grabbing on here so it won't slide off. So the best way to do it is to stick a screwdriver, flat screwdriver in there, a good size one, pry it out this way, and then a screwdriver in here, pry it out that way, and it'll all come out in one piece. And the brakes are actually going to be inside the caliper. You can just pop them out. So let's do that right now. Just like I thought, there is absolutely no brake material. This is the part that rubs against the rotor itself. It is bare metal. There's nothing there. It's just a metal plate. Now the front is actually, I'm surprised, the front has a tad a little bit more, but you can see it's almost to nothing. That one side, like I said, this is the back side, no material at all. This side really thin, and it gouged up the rotor. So I can either try and save it or get it, or just get new rotors. So I decided just to get new rotors and don't take the chance, because I mean it's chewed up pretty good. Now it's time to take the rotor off. Now I just need to remove 2 bolts. You got one right here and one right here. Once you remove those 2 right here, this whole bracket will come off. And once the bracket comes off, you can take the whole rotor off as one piece. Let's do this. Now with the bracket off, the rotor slid right off. And this is it right here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's hairline cracks in it. And this is the good side, good looking side. The side that said it had no padding. Flip it over. Look at that. Bare metal on bare metal. That's why the car was making all this noise. And to think this has only been 2 years with this rotor and these pads. I learned one thing: don't buy stuff off of eBay. Just get the good stuff. Okay, this is the one I got from Advanced Auto Parts. It's made by CarQuest. Lifetime warranty. This time, I'm not going to be skimping on anything. Believe it or not, this only ran me a total of $60 each, with a $20 rebate. So you're looking at maybe 40 bucks with tax. Now what I'm going to do is just reverse. I'm going to slide it on, get this bracket, put that back on with the 2 bolts right here. There's the one right here and there's the one that was right there. Bolt that back on after I put the rotor on, and then I can put the calipers back on. Okay, as soon as you get the caliper off, see how I just hung it up here? The reason why is because if you're messing around with the rotor, taking it on and off, or you're messing with the pads, and this falls down, you got this rubber hose. You can easily damage that, and then you'll have a whole bunch of other problems besides just changing your pads and rotors. So as soon as you take the caliper off, get some zip ties or whatever, and tie it up out of the way. Like I said, I tied them up to the coil springs up here. So they're out of the way. I can mess around with the brackets and the rotors and the pads without worrying about this thing falling over and you damaging the caliper or the lines. Okay, I got the rotor on, I got the bracket on, but before I can do anything else, this caliper up here, I got to compress the piston. Okay, now that I got the caliper and the bracket on, I got to compress the piston on this caliper. So I'm using one of these. I'm going to clamp it on the outside and the other side on the back here, and we're going to press the caliper back into the housing right here. So then I can just put the pads here and put the caliper on top, and I can put the 2 bolts back in and tighten it down to 20 foot-pounds. I forgot to mention that the brackets here that I put on, the 15mm ones, you torque those down to 100 foot-pounds. So now I'm going to compress this, and then I'll put the pads in here, put it on top, put the bolts in, torque it down to 20 foot-pounds. Okay, I compressed the piston in. Okay, now what I do is just slide a pad in here and a pad in there. And I got one of these little metal brackets. You put that right in the slot, but you got to put it in from the inside. Put that metal thing. It just keeps everything lined up here with these 2 chrome pieces right here. So I'm going to take this tab off. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to slide it on top right here, line up the bolts, and put the 12mm back in there, and then torque everything down to 20 foot-pounds. It's not that much because these are sliders, so they can't be too tight so they can cramp and open. So let's get to it. And now that I got it on, I tightened it down to 20 foot-pounds, and there you go. Took about, just because I had to film it, it took about 45 minutes. But I'm going to knock out the other side real quick, and it should be a lot faster. Okay, I just finished the other side. If you notice, all the fluid that leaked out, that came from the master cylinder. That's the reason why I told you at the beginning of the video to take the master cylinder cap off, because when you compress the calipers, the fluid has to go somewhere, and it's going to end up being out of the car. So when you do that, you'll lose some fluid, but don't worry. All you got to do now is just check the fluid level, and then get in the car and gently pump the brakes a couple of times to build the pressure up, and then check the fluid again and top it off. And then after that, you'll have to go for a few test runs, little 5 mile-per-hour stops, and see how the brakes work. Everything should go the way things planned. We'll see in a minute. Okay, I just finished doing some 5 mile-per-hour stops. The rotors work fine. Braking is good. I needed a little fluid. So I just topped it off a little bit. Didn't require any bleeding or anything, but this was the cause of my problems. See here, this was completely no padding left, just bare metal, and that's what happened here. The other one was still savable, but there's hardly any left on this either. It was going to end up just like this one. So lesson learned. Don't go around here thinking your brakes will last forever, because they won't. On my car, I drive 3,000 mile round trips, and so I need to keep an eye on my brakes more often. This is the result of it. I hope that anyone that wants to work on a Taurus, change the brakes. It's simple. You just need the right tools. I'm gonna put all the tools that I used in the description so you can have it up firsthand, and it can save you some money. This front brakes discs only cost me 1 hour of work, and it's better to spend $150 in your own time than to pay someone $300 to do it. Until the next video, I'll see you then.